Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Scoop World Order. Hope you guys are having a great week. We're getting close to kickoff. The two hard practices of the week are done for Ohio State. There's a new 5-star quarterback about to jump into the fold. I'm going to break all that down and take your questions as well. Guys, this thing is going quick. You guys better enjoy the season because there's a lot of great Buckeyes that have 3 games guaranteed left. Obviously, Big Ten Championship is in reach. Playoffs obviously are in reach, but 3 shots guaranteed left. So enjoy the season. Will Howard is a dark horse for the Heisman, in our opinion. If he wins out and balls out versus Oregon, it's going to be hard to deny it. I'm just telling you, a lot of crestfallen stars have gone along the way. And this is the month to win the Big Ten title, to beat Michigan, to win the Big Ten. A lot at stake over the next 4 weeks. And like I said, BuckeyeScoop.com is the spot to be. If you guys aren't members of our BuckeyeScoop.com message board, it is absolutely on fire right now. It's a blast to be a part of. I'd love for you guys to join that. It's a great Christmas gift as well. I know that a lot of you guys hate shopping, you hate Black Friday, but it's the best deal there is our website. It's literally 30 cents a day to join it, and it's something that you'll get 30 cents of enjoyment out of after the first 5 minutes of being on it. So, but I appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, we appreciate you guys kicking in with us each and every night. If you want to do something awesome for us to help support us in the biggest way you can, give us a follow on Apple Podcasts along with Spotify. They're completely free, and it helps support this podcast. Again, we try to go every day. Obviously, we're humans, so we have to take a couple days off a year, but we really try not to, and we don't miss often. So again, we appreciate you guys for being here and kicking it each and every night. And I'd be remiss to not mention our guy, Vader. Appreciate you, Sean and Steely, bringing up Vader. Happy birthday to your father. I know that you're on here every night. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you to all of our constituents that are on here every night. Our Scoop family is real. It is fun. And you guys are absolutely awesome. So again, appreciate you guys. That being said, I got to bring in my man, Nevadabuck. Nevada, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I think we may have solved the elusive sound issues on the podcast. I don't want to jinx it, but we think we're getting down to the bottom. I am getting off the submarine and will no longer be broadcasting from underwater, which I know.
And I don't need a CPAP. I don't need a CPAP. I'm not going to die. I mean, I had people like writing me prescriptions for CPAPs, like because I was breathing in the mic and it was touchy and loud. And no, we have professional help coming, folks. So we're gonna get some new toys, some new setups to clean everything up and make it as crispy as you guys would like it to be. So again, we appreciate you guys. Again, we are comical when it comes to our technical prowess when it comes to podcasting, because it's basically me trying to teach myself how to do stuff. And again, got a lot of stuff going on. So if I'm not as proficient as I need to be, I apologize. But it adds to the charm when you hear a dog bark or a cat meow or my kids fighting and moving stuff. So that's just the dogs walking past Nevada's house. Again, it all adds to the charm. So we have a little bit of flavor on here. It's not a sterile studio, so you guys get a little bit of funniness that's unintentional, but again, we appreciate you guys. But Nevada, Jared Curtis is a kid that is on the radar, decommitted. Again, I think that any kid that's a quarterback that doesn't come to Ohio State is a complete moron. But that's just my opinion, and it's usually right. What's in this kid? His film role. He's from Tennessee. Again, obviously, I'm sure we'll have a lot of competition through the SEC, but loves Ohio State. What are your thoughts on the kid?
Well, I mean, it's a good looking, but I want to say, or we'll offer the disclaimer of, we understand that there's nothing probably less valuable than talking about recruits that are years and years out in advance. But with quarterbacks, it's a little bit different, just because you're generally only going to take one in a class. And, the way Ryan Day's recruiting, it's going to be the best of the best of the best. He is the quarterback whisperer. He's turned Ohio State into a quarterback factory, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And, this is a kid that got Ohio State way high on the list. I know that Ohio State's high on him. And that could be good enough to make a connection. But it'll be interesting to watch and see how this kind of plays out. But it's going to be first come, first served, and he could be the first one up to the trough.
Now here's the real question, Nevada. With the advent of the portal, I saw a crazy stat. I don't know what percentage of the top 10. It was over 75% of the top 10. The starting quarterbacks are transfer portal kids. Obviously, us with Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel at Oregon. Your Quinn Ewers even at Texas counts as one. Your thoughts on securing a quarterback? Like, is this important to get a high caliber freshman quarterback? Because to me, the problem with quarterbacks is they're a lot like offensive linemen. Like in general, if you have to play as a freshman, you're either a phenom, like you're that really that guy, or you're on a terrible team. It's kind of one or the other. And usually, we get phenoms, but it's hard to find a phenom who's a true freshman who starts a quarterback for Ohio State on a good Ohio State team. Now, if we stink, like in 2011 when Braxton started, Braxton, very good player, was nowhere near ready to play, but we didn't have a choice because we were so bad, obviously, with Joe Bowsman. Just atrocious quarterback play. So we just had to put the athlete out there, and Braxton didn't know the plays, and Braxton was able to ad lib because he was such an incredible talent from an athletic perspective that he made stuff happen. And we won some wingding games where, like against Illinois, we completed one pass and we won. Like it was like we had some of the craziest games ever. But what are your thoughts? Like, I mean, how much, because what I'm getting at is, when you go get some top drawer, 5-star, number one overall quarterback in recruiting, you're going to have to pay him NIL money. You're going to have to pay him a huge amount of NIL money. And then he might not play, and then he might transfer. So how would you guide that versus going and getting Will Howard, who is a stone cold kid who won a conference championship at Kansas State, great leader. I mean, Will's got every attribute in the world, And again, I know that they touch on deep ball and whatever, but I'm like, he has everything he does is A+. The way he carries himself, the way he works, the way he leads, his athletic ability, I think is excellent. I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson, but I mean, he's really good at getting out of sacks and creating on the move. And like I said, I watched this film and I'm just like, I genuinely don't think that our fan base realizes how good he is. But we're going to miss him severely next year. But what are your thoughts on a portal quarterback versus going after like a 5-star phenom type kid?
Well, it's a great question, and I'll liken it to like goalie in hockey, only because it's a position where only one person plays at a time. So you have you have your prime goalie. Your backup's not going to get a lot of action. Same thing with your quarterback, and I think that is the question now. I think the question is how much time, energy, effort do you want to spend. You've got to protect yourself. Lest you end up in a Michigan situation where you have nobody in the quarterback room. But gun to my head, if you said, "Hey, Nevada, you've got to build a winning college football team. How are you doing it?" Man, I'm going out and getting a portal quarterback every year. That may seem crazy, that may seem risky, but I just think that you've got a chance to get kids that's proven. What you're going to get. They've got game experience. The bust factor on them is really low because you've seen 20 games, 30 games as a starting quarterback playing somewhere else before they come to you, and it's just such a huge advantage in terms of winning now. And most coaches now are about winning now, and so for Ohio State, man, it's tough because, like I said, as nice as it is to have Julian saying, in the quarterback room, or any of the other number of kids that we've got a very busy room right now. Is that as good as having a proven and experienced quarterback coming from some Mid-American Conference team or some smaller Power 5 team that comes to you and is ready to play? Man, I don't know. It is a great question, and certainly that could be a topic that we go on a podcast all by itself. But gun to my head, I'm going with the experienced kid, and I think that's what most of these teams are doing because it's just such a cheat code. Because you take a lot of the guesswork, a lot of the projection out of the equation, and that's where I'm going. But that doesn't make these guys not important, but I'd say they makes it less important.
Yeah, I think you have to go portal quarterback because again, you want to make it. When you're Ryan Day, like let's just rewind to 1 year ago. Got Kyle McCord. You haven't. This is his senior year. He did not redshirt, which obviously is a mistake. the easy thing for him to do is stick with Kyle, keep Lincoln, you got Lincoln Keenholz, you got Devin. But is that really going to get you to where you need to go? Or do you go out and kind of shake the bushes and Will Howard comes flying out of the bushes? Like, I just think that when you're Ohio State and you have Ryan Day and you have Chip Kelly and you have our NIL fund with the foundation with Brian Schottenstein and Bill Lewis and those guys, I think that it's like having the number one pick in the NFL draft every year when it comes to the portal. You're going to get the guy you want, or close to it. I don't know if there was a guy that I wouldn't take. This is just me, and again, Nevada, you can say, Kirk, you're an idiot, but I'm not taking Will Howard. I'm not taking Cam Ward or Dylan Gabriel over Will Howard. That's how much I believe in Will Howard. And people can say, Kirk, you know what you're talking about, but when it gets cold, it's windy, gets tough, it's a little rainy in November. Give me the big, strong Clydesdale instead of the little guys. I like my team's big, physical, chain gang mentality type teams. I think that wins in the winter, in the cold. I think that we're developing that. I think that we're really tough on defense, and I think that we're really tough on offense. So, I want a guy who's big and strong, because it's just like playing in the AFC North, like when they had Ben Roethlisberger and Carson Palmer, and you have these big, strong quarterbacks. Like, I think that you need that when it gets, if there's weather, if it's windy, again, like if say that we have Northwestern weather, like we did a couple years ago when it was 70-mile-an-hour winds, like, what you do in 70-mile-an-hour winds? You run the read option, run the quarterback. It's undefeated. If you can't throw it and you can run your quarterback, then do it. And that'll carry you home to get the win. And like I said, when it's something where there's a disadvantage, like again, if there's weather that takes away our throwing game, then having a big, strong, fast quarterback like Will Howard is a game changer. I've lived that before, but I think to the portal, it's a lot like with offensive line. Again, where would we be? And again, it sucks to even talk about how Josh Simmons, given how good he was playing. Where would we be without Seth McLaughlin, who accepted an invitation to the Senior Bowl, which I played in? It's a college football all-star game. He's soaring up the rankings right now. He was, again, this is from the Senior Bowl director, like a preseason undrafted free agent. Now he's a mid-round pick, which again, it's credit to Justin Fry. It's credit to Mickey Marotti. It's credit to Chip Kelly, especially, because Chip Kelly's his offense is very, very friendly to offensive linemen, especially centers, especially tackles. So I think that, offensive linemen, quarterbacks, if you can get a guy or two out of the portal and then develop, if the O-line, if you can develop 3 and portal 2, I think that's a great mix, because then you keep guys hungry. But the portal's a cheat code, because it's a guy can play. It's like signing a guy in free agency or trading for somebody in the NFL. If you're that's a whole different ball of wax when you get a guy that can play at that level, in that league, as opposed to a high school kid who might take a little bit of time. Again, that's why when we didn't get David Sanders Jr., I was kind of fine with that. I was like, because he's going to want $1.5 million probably in NIL money. So do you want to pay a guy $1.5 million who might not be able to play here or might have to redshirt next year? Now he might be a 3-and-out guy and a top 10 pick, and you guys can say, Kirk, you're an idiot. But I've seen, you're paying a guy a lot of money and he can't beat out George Fitzpatrick or whoever at left tackle, then I don't know. Like, is he going to be better than George next year? I don't know. George's probably going to be the starting left tackle next year, I'd imagine. So I don't know. So it's going to be it's interesting. But I love the way that we've used the portal, because you pay guys like Caleb Downs and Quinshawn and Davidson Igbinosun, these guys that are proven commodities that are good. Because it's hard to miss. When you miss on a kid like Tyler Malone has been. He's been a bust. He hasn't been what we've needed him to be. I mean, when you're paying a guy like that, you need him to be in the rotation and step up. And he's been passed by, 3 or 4 guys that are younger than he is. And Victor Cutler was a disaster, obviously. So you got to be meticulous with how you evaluate these guys. Because if you pay a guy and then he sucks, that's the worst case scenario. Because he's probably going to transfer out. He's going to take your money, transfer out, and you're going to upset the guys that are playing. They probably didn't get the NIL deal. But again, I think we're portal quarterbacks from here on out. I think that's going to be the way, when you're Ryan and you have so much at stake, man, you want to maximize your proficiency, and it all starts with your quarterback, so when you can eliminate that margin of error and you can go get a Will Howard, then you can sleep like a baby at night. Any thoughts on that, Nevada? Because again, I always think about the portal thing and recruiting high school kids, and Dion, again, as much crap as Dion gets, like, when he talks about, he takes 10 to 15 guys that are freshmen and he expects them to play, and then he takes 10 or 15 portal guys. Like, I don't know if that's the exact mix, but I think he's getting close. Because again, when you take a freshman kid and then you redshirt him, 80% of those guys are going to portal, and they're going to go back home, or they're going to go back to Central Florida or wherever. And then you don't really get anything out of them. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you've got to find that right balance. You've got to plant some seeds, and I think that having some guys, especially in development positions like offensive line, where guys might not be game ready until year 3, year 4, year 5. You certainly want to have some foundational pieces, but at the same time, being opportunistic in the portal. I think the key is the opportunity. You said it though. You just can't miss. If you're bringing in guys and you're not missing, I think it's way less upsetting to your culture than bringing in guys and you're missing, because nobody's griping. Nobody at Ohio State is sour about Seth McLaughlin being there, or Caleb Downs, or Davison, or Will Howard, or even Will Kazmarek. Nobody's going, oh wow, those guys are chumps. Why do you guys bring those guys in? But when you miss, then it's the law of unintended consequences, and it certainly can have a ripple down effect. But for Ohio State this year, we've been able to, we've demonstrated. I've been saying for years that we have more depth on the offensive line than people think. This year we've put it on display, where we've lost 2 starters off the offensive line, and we're still chugging along, nominated for the Joe Moore Award for the best offensive line group. I mean, I think that I don't know if we're going to win it, but our offensive line is really good. And you look at that offensive line, as you said, at the beginning it was Jimmy Simmons who was a transfer, Seth McLaughlin who was a transfer. Now it's down to Seth and 4 kids that you develop yourself. So for Ohio State, I think you just got to strike that balance and do that. But at the quarterback position, as good as Tavian St. Clair is, and as good as Aaron Noland is, I mean, I don't know how you don't portal. I just don't know how you don't portal and get somebody. Now, maybe there's a year where there's not an obvious quarterback available, or the guys that you want, go somewhere else. And I think you've got to be prepared for that eventuality, because there's no guarantee that when you go shopping that you're going to find something that you like, that's got the right skill set that you want, the right mental acumen, and at the right price. But for Ohio State, I just think about how much college football has changed for these coaches, and how different it was in Woody's days, or even in Tressel days, and or Urban Meyer. The stuff that Ryan Day has got to manage right now is absolutely crazy, and I honestly don't know how they do it. I don't know how you coach big time. You have all the issues that Urban Meyer had before, coaching big time football and winning, and dealing with the press, and dealing with the sponsors, and dealing with the media, and dealing with the crazy fans and the expectations, all that. And then you throw on top of that your entire roster has got instantaneous free agency, and you've got to manage that as well. I mean, I honestly don't know how I do it. So I tip my hat to him. I tip my hat to the job that he's doing, the way that he's managing it right now. But hey, to go back full circle, hey, it's nice to have it. It was nice having Tavian St. Clair as your 2025 quarterback. If Curtis is our 2026 guy, yeah, that's great. You're laying good guys in the room, and may the best man win.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, we know half of them are going to leave, no matter what, no matter how much they love Ohio State. I mean, they're all gonna transfer to a position that's for their best interests, and again, that's fine. Like again, I'm pro player when it comes to the portal. I think that I've seen kids that were good kids get buried because the coach didn't like them, and so they didn't play him, and so he never got a shot to play. Because again, I never begrudge a kid, especially a kid who's not good enough to play here, because there's some kids that show up and this ain't their, this is the speed limit's a little too high, and there's some guys I played with, there's some guys I coached that, they probably could have played at a 1AA school or a MAC school, but they weren't good enough to play at Ohio State, not consistently. And I wish that they were able to transfer out because, back, before they did all the portal stuff, you'd have to, if you transferred to a D1 school, then all of a sudden you got to go and sit out for a year. So that's why you have a guy like Joe Flacco. I mean, Joe Flacco transferred out of Pitt. He couldn't beat out Tyler Palco. And he had to go to Delaware, a 1AA school, and play quarterback there. And then he ends up being a first-round pick. And I mean, I think he's the last guy from my draft class that's still playing in the league. I think 2008. I mean, it's pretty close. But I mean, we were drafted the same year, and I've been out of the league for 10 years. And he's been out he's still going. He got benched again, but he's still rolling as a 40-year-old. But I think that the point you make about coaching these kids is incredibly accurate. Because I don't know how you really get after these kids when a lot of these kids are soft, a lot of the kids are sensitive, a lot of the kids at the first sign of adversity, they're trying to pull the ripcord and get out of here. Because again, let's be honest, a lot of these kids didn't grow up being Ohio State fans. They didn't grow up in Ohio. We're a national brand now, which is fine. Again, we go out and we get amazing skill guys from all over the country, but we see a lot of these guys take off. And again, that's not all bad. Because again, when you can churn the bottom quarter of your roster every year and you lose guys that frankly can't play here, that gives you more ammunition to go out and get guys that can play here. So when you lose Cedric Hawkins and then you gain Caleb Downs, like nobody's, don't cry for me, Argentina. Like, we'll be okay, I promise. So when you lose Victor Cutler and you get Seth McLaughlin, that is a massive upgrade to your roster. So just because guys leave and they go, and none of those guys have hurt us who've left. I mean, Quinn Ewers is the only thing that's been close, and obviously Quinn's probably the same thing as Will Howard. I mean, I don't think we'd have a much better team if we had Quinn as our QB, and I don't think I love Quinn Ewers. He's a great guy, great family, but we can't run him like we can run Will Howard because Will Howard's so much bigger. Quinn's had some injury issues. So again, I like for Chip Kelly's offense, I really like what Will Howard does. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, this is, it's going to be fascinating. And again, I love, we had a grand slam home run this past offseason with the portal additions. And I think we'll be just as strong because, let's be real. We're going to be open for business next year. We're going to have a lot of open spots and a lot of money laying around that's coming off the cap. Guys are going to go to the NFL. A lot of guys are going to declare early for the NFL. So it'll be exciting to see how this roster shakes out because you're not just stuck with, we got these guys coming back and then hopefully some of these freshmen can kick in. Now you can go out and get ballers to fill some spots. So I'm excited about that. Anything else about it? And we can dig into some super chats.
No, we're going to have to be active in the portal because we're going to have a couple of open spots next year. And, so I think the foundation is going to be put to the test and Ryan Day is going to be put to the test. But there's lots of, the good news is there's lots of jobs available and we're going to have a fun day on the NFL draft, puffing up our chest and looking at all these Buckeyes being drafted. The bad news is everything that I just said because we lose a lot. But let's not think about that now because that'll just make us sad pandas. And let's focus on winning the national championship this year.
Yeah, seriously. Why you gotta be depressing? I'm gonna call you Zoloft, Buck, and you keep talking about that. Jeez. People look for hope, man. You come in here to kick them in the balls. Doing all that. Oh wow. Austin Spears, thank you for the 500. That is incredible. Want this to go to Pay It Forward, showing love from Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Well, that is incredible, Austin. Again, we're very pro-veteran, very pro-cop on this show. I would guess that we're probably the only show that consistently mentions how much we appreciate our law enforcement and our police officers, veterans. I mean, we don't just do it on Veterans Day. We try to do it every day. So, but that's incredible. You'll get multiple members signed up for Pay It Forward on our site with that number. And again, I just appreciate you so much, my dude. If you have a question, toss it in the chat. And I'll have the Steely and the guys, they'll text it to me. That's exceptionally generous, my man. I hope Oklahoma is great. I'm glad you're an Ohio State fan there because Brett Venables is on the hot seat in a major way. But that's incredible. Nevada, your thoughts again? Austin Spears, thank you for the 500. That's incredible. He says, want this to go to pay it forward, showing love from Talakwa, Oklahoma. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, that's just wow. What a gesture, and amazing. And I wish you could talk to some of the vets that I talked to. Signing these guys up. I know how much they appreciate it, and it's all because of the generosity from great listeners like you. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. That's really really an amazing gesture.
Yeah, I mean that's like the best part about when we do this is we get emails and people say, hey, do I qualify? And of course, and we get it their military ID. And then I a lot of times if I can, I call them if I'm not super slammed and underwater with work. I like to call and talk to them a little bit, and they get signed up, and it's just cool. I mean, they get to check out BuckeyeScoop.com, and again with everyone having an iPhone, an iPad, an Android, whatever, it's super easy to use, super easy to access. You can read about all the latest Ohio State news and all of the inside information that we love to bring. So it's really cool. Like, and again, I appreciate you so much, man. That's so generous. Like I said, if you have a question, toss it in the chat, and one of the guys will get it to me. But thank you, my man. That's awesome. Stephen Luter, thank you for the Deuce score predictions for IU and Scum games. Well, this is a little early for me because I haven't even looked at Indiana yet, other than the Michigan game. In Nevada, you're not going to give a score. I'll give a score out. I don't care. I'll say Indiana, we win 35-21. Actually, go 35-14. I think Michigan, oh God, that one's going to get spicy. I'm going to go 49-14. I mean, I think we're going to hang one on Michigan, especially because I don't think their corner is coming back. I think that those guys are going to run for the hills, and so I think we're going to hang one. I mean, Ryan, the amount of crap Ryan Day's had to take, and now the fact that he's got Excalibur the sword, and Sharon Moore's got a butter knife for a team, so it ain't going to be pretty. So if Sharon Moore can behead the Wolverines, I can't imagine him. He probably won't ever pull the starters out of the game, honestly. Probably going to try to just demolish them. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I mean, it is early, but I'd say like we'll beat Indiana like 27-10, and we'll beat Michigan like 42-3. There's no way they're scoring 14. We could play Michigan for 2 years consecutively, every day for 2 years, and they wouldn't score 14 points against us. So, I'm going to go 42-3.
And we will adjust our scores. I promise you. If something happens, again, 2 weeks out's tough because like if someone gets hurt or someone gets pulled out, like things can change quick.
Oh, that's kind of... Now who's Mr. Negative, bringing the board down with your negativity about guys getting injured now?
Well, I was talking about Michigan. I wasn't even talking about us. Like, our guys are invincible. I was talking about Mason. If Mason Graham calls off the dogs and stays in Ann Arbor, then oh my God.
Okay. I thought you were being negative there.
No, don't rub your negative energy off me. I'm Mr. Positivity. Just because you're negative down there in your submarine in the middle of middle of the ocean.
I'm not in the sub today. Am I sub free today?
No, you're good. Tony Yester upgraded your Wi-Fi signal. Good for him. He went to Best Buy with me. Steven Luter, thanks for the 5. On one hand, I want to boat race Scum and run up the score, but my worst nightmare is leaving starters in and having Will Howard / O-line first team injury late. I mean, it's like I always tell people, if somebody gets hurt, it's just God's will. It's destiny. It's how it's supposed to be. That's always tell people, like, if you get hurt, like, it's already predetermined, so don't sweat it. I mean, all you can do is go out there and play hard. Don't lollygag. Don't take it easy. Because again, I see guys get hurt when they let off the gas a little bit, whatever. So I'm not worried about that. Again, we've survived JT Barrett breaking his leg against Michigan, and we went on and won a national title. We're a deep squad. We've got a lot of resiliency. We'll be okay, and I think Ryan's gonna want to put one on. And again, if I'm one of these starters, and if I'm a senior, and if I'm Seth McLaughlin or if I'm Josh Fryer, and this is my last game in the shoe, I don't want to come out. I want to beat the tar out of those guys. Like I never left the Michigan game early, and I'm fine. I walk around and podcast every night and do my thing. So these guys will be okay. They'll survive. Big tough cookies. Nevada, your thoughts. Stephen, again, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for the 5. He says, on one hand, I want to boat race Scum and run up the score, But my worst nightmare is leaving starters in and having Will Howard / O-line first team injury late. Well, Will Howard should not get hit too. I'll add that caveat. So we're not going to run Will Howard if we're up by a bunch late in the game. He's going to be handing the ball off or throwing quick game. He should not get hit. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, that's always the problem. You want to run it up. You want to do the old go for three, a la Woody Hayes, but you don't want anybody to get hurt. But the good news is we're deep, and so there's lots of different ways you can run it up on the team. And even when the backups come in, they're going to want to score. And you saw how much pride the defense has this week. We're trying to preserve that shutout, and how excited they were when the second team guys were getting a stop there at Purdue late. I guarantee against Michigan, it's going to be about 10 times that kind of energy. So even the backups are going to want to lay it on them offensively and protect the lead defensively. So I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I do too. C. Brown, thank you for the 5. Post Michigan or shoot again's verdict, can we get a special ad of all their fans facing away into the bushes like the Homer Simpson meme? 17 days and counting, Nevada OH. Yeah, of course. Because nobody's been dumber or more wrong this year than Michigan fans. It's almost been, it's been like hypnotizing how dumb they've been. Oh, nothing's going to happen. It's all going to pass. There's not going to be a hammer. I'm like, okay, well, why are they investigating Jim McElwain? If Jim McElwain's getting investigated at Central Michigan. You really think that Michigan's going to skate when they had their staff member literally on the sideline scouting Michigan State? You really in your heart of hearts think that's going to happen? If you're dumb, and you can say, yeah, we got rid of Connor Steins, but you know what? And I always say this because, again, a lot of these head coaches are dumb, but most of them, they're not dumb. They just like to play dumb and hope that you're dumb enough to believe that they're dumb. Like Jim Harbaugh, when he says, well, I had no idea about Connor Steins or anything that he did or whatever he did, and I didn't even know who he was. I'm like, okay, sure. Like I know one thing with Urban Meyer, if I didn't show up to team meal on Friday night and didn't go to the hotel and be with the O-line, and he would have wondered where I was, or Ed Warner would have, or Tom Herman would have. I mean, you don't just skate out of there when you're a full-time employee. And I was just a GA, but you're a full-time guy. I mean, even if you're a guy like Mark Piantoni's a recruiting guy. He's still in the hotel all night. And I mean, he doesn't have to be. He's not coaching nobody. He's not game planning anything, but he's there. You're expected to be there. You don't just get to go take the night off and go hang out and go to TGI Fridays. Like, you got to go work. So when a guy like Connor Steins is making $50,000 a year, who has his own office that he shares with Denard Robinson and whatever other dingbat was doing this stuff, like, they expect you to be there because that's how college football is. Like, they don't pay you $50,000 to take Friday nights off when everyone else is working. Let alone the fact that, you can be getting ahead or getting stuff scheduled, like whatever. If you're Connor and you're allegedly a recruiting guy or you're onto scouting stuff or breaking film down, there's always work that can get done. In football season, there's never a time where you're like, damn, I don't have anything to do. There's always stuff that can get done. There's always, let's break down some more film on the next opponent. There's we got to make a new call sheet. We changed the stuff. We got to make practice scripts. Like, there was never a time where I was working with Hayes, I was like, damn, I ain't got nothing to do. There's always stuff to do. So you don't get to go take Friday night off and go watch a game without telling someone important, like AKA a coordinator, probably not the head coach, but definitely the coordinator, or definitely, one of your superiors. You don't just get to skate out of there. Nevada, your thoughts post Crappigan's verdict. Can we get a special out of all of Michigan's fans facing away into the bushes like a Homer Simpson meme? I'd love to do that. I don't know how to do that, but I'd love to do that. Your thoughts on the wonderful Michigan fans, Nevada?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could ask them when is Harbaugh signing that extension, or flying back on the plane to go. They've just been sold a bill of goods on this from day one. They've been wrong about everything. And there was a question on our board today about it. How can they be so obtuse? How can they be just so completely lacking self-awareness on this? And the only thing I can say is they've completely lacked self-awareness on this from day one. Everything, they've been wrong about everything, absolutely everything. And so, I mean, look how they rated their own team this year. They're thinking their team's a national championship contender, back to back. The playoffs can't go on without Michigan. They're too valuable. They're too valuable of a brand. And they're one of the worst teams in college football. They literally are like 130th out of 134 teams in offense this year. I mean that. I mean that is so impossibly bad. And so, yeah, no, they've been wrong about everything. We got some pretty good people that are pretty technically savvy. We got B. Moses is really good on that. Funky's really good on that. We'll get one of those Homer Simpsons back in the bushes thing with the Michigan fans. And 2 weeks and counting, guys. Their response is coming.
That sounds like a B. Moses, because B. Moses makes some of the funniest memes,
Yeah,
man. I mean, he
really
sits
good.
there, he gets in the lab, man, and he puts some stuff out, and I was like, I wish I could do that. I mean, he's like, he makes stuff where I'm just like, that is actually hilarious. So if you guys don't watch B. Moses, man, you guys are great. B. Moses and Funky go on every Sunday at 6, and they are an absolute riot. So I love those guys. Super chat, thanks for the deuce. T-Dub, appreciate you, my friend. Hope you're doing great on this Wednesday night. Do you think CJ Hicks will transfer? I don't know. I'm sure that he's going to look into it because he hasn't played at all. I mean, it's like I tell people, he's year 3. He's draft eligible this year and he hasn't made a start, and he got beat out by a guy younger than him, Sonny Styles, so Sonny's, I mean, they have the same eligibility, but Sonny's literally physically a year younger than him. So do I know if CJ wants to try and compete with Sonny and Arvell for the starting linebacker spot next year, or does he want to go somewhere where they're just going to hand him a job? I don't know. But he's a nice kid, but he's been underwhelming. And then, he has his stupid comment after the game on Saturday, which again was ridiculous. And again, I don't know why you'd let people record someone with a hot mic, right outside the stadium where, there's a lot of guys that leave the stadium. They're happy because they played and whatever. But there's a lot of guys that are mad when they leave that home locker room because they didn't play, or they didn't play enough, or they whatever. And CJ was obviously frustrated because he missed a sack and it turned into a huge gain. And CJ just didn't. He never plays well. And again, I'm really not trying to be that guy, but show me the CJ Hicks Ohio State football highlight reel, and it's going to be, 1 second maybe. So again, I would love for the kid to be a dominating linebacker because he was a 5-star kid. He showed up and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a Laurinaitis, or this is going to be a big time guy. This is going to be a Raekwon, or one of these guys, Jerome Baker. Honestly, if with his speed, I was thinking like Jerome made a lot of sense for comparison, but haven't seen it. And again, we've had a lot of instances where our linebackers haven't exactly been shooting stars of efficiency. So it's not like he's behind AJ and James Laurinaitis. He's behind, Cody's been excellent and Sonny's improving, but Sonny's never played linebacker before. So I give him a little bit of leeway just because it is a huge jump going from safety to linebacker, just in terms of the speed of the game and reading guards and stuff that you just weren't used to. So he's a little slow sometimes to read some stuff, but he's never done it before. He's always played the deep half, deep third, and bit of safety because he's such a great athlete. So they put him back there where he can really cover the whole field. What are your thoughts about it? Do you think CJ Hicks will transfer?
Yeah, it's kind of unknowable. I mean, I want to throw Gabe Powers' name in the mix too for linebackers. That's a guy that every time he goes on the field, I know he's on the field, and I know that's not the ultimate litmus test, and that's not the key barometer of everything. But for me, I generally, I think we all have gotten to the point where when the backups get in, you're just looking for something bad to happen. And when a guy consistently does good things that you notice, it gets your attention. And Gabe's a guy that I like it. I thought the hot mic comment that he made to Austin Ward, and Austin Ward putting that up, I thought was Bush League. I thought that was stupid. Never have done it. Really put CJ in a bad light. I'm sure that was not a popular move with the coaching staff, with the fan base, with anybody. So I thought the whole situation was really unfortunate. And like you, I'm rooting for CJ to turn it around. But if he doesn't, hey, next man up.
Like I said, I would love for CJ to step in and dominate. Because I'm sure there's nobody that feels worse about everything than CJ, because he's a guy. I've seen this movie. Dorian Bell, Curtis Grant, guys, 5-star guys that show up, and it's hard. I mean, dude, college football it's a monstrous leap. And again, I was blessed to be a 3-star. Nobody thought anything of me. Everybody thought I sucked and I wasn't going to do anything. And it's like I always tell the guys, I'm like, look, the only guy that matters is you. as long as you don't think you suck, you're fine. But if every fan or recruiting analyst thinks you suck, that's great because they can't evaluate anything anyways. So, but a guy like CJ, when you're a 5-star guy, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be 3 and out, be a first round pick, I'm going to get my signing bonus, I'm going to get my dream car, get my vacation, like all that. I mean, so when guys are his age, I mean, there's going to be guys in his recruiting class that are going to be first round picks that are going to be 3 and out guys, and he's like, damn, I played in the All-American game with him, and I knew that guy, and I'm just trying to get on the field, So again, I think that there's some awareness that comes in when you're 3 and they can't put you out there. It's like I said, I wish that we could just rotate him and he could be productive, because there are guys like I saw AJ Hawk when he was a freshman and going into his sophomore year. I mean, how productive he was every time he was on the field. Brian Roll was, when he was a freshman, was very productive when he was on the field at Ohio State. There's guys that flash, even James Laurinaitis, when he had to pinch hit when Bobby Carpenter got his leg broken by Jake Long at Michigan. James, he didn't play a ton that Michigan game, but when he got out there, it wasn't vomit. We went nickel and went 2 linebackers for most of the game just because, James was a freshman. But, James started to really, shine and he showed up, and it wasn't terrible. So I don't know. Like I feel for CJ. And again, I always tell that 5-star stuff is a double-edged sword because everybody's excited about you. You commit, everyone's excited. But when you show up and you don't show out, then people, that you're a bust. We don't really call 3 stars bust because most people think 3 stars can't play anyways. So when they show up and do good, then all of a sudden, or 3 or 4 star, then all of a sudden you're like, yeah. I mean, because I think that the biggest difference between Gabe Powers and CJ is just the recruiting ranking. Like if Gabe Powers was a 5-star coming out, I think he'd be playing more, but he's kind of the 5th guy in the rotation behind CJ and Arvell. And I think Gabe, he plays, when he's out there, he's efficient. He makes plays. You notice him. I think he really is a tough kid. He's a great athlete. I mean, I watched him play in high school twice because they played Dublin Jerome, and my dude Ryan Miller for Ohio State baseball hit a grand slam yesterday in their little scrimmage thing. So he's coming. He's going to be our first baseman this year. So shout out to my dude Rhino. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't give up hope on guys, but it's gonna be tough because if you're CJ, you got a decision to make. Like, do you want to bet on yourself to beat out Sonny and beat out Arvell? I mean, you put a gun to my head, you say who's gonna be the starting linebackers for spring? It's gonna be Arvell and it's gonna be Sonny. Or do you go somewhere that guarantees you a spot and they might give you a little bit of NIL money based on your last deal? So I don't know. Like, because for some of these guys, I think part of the calculus is they might not make it in the NFL. So if they can get a couple $100,000 to go somewhere we can get NIL money, they might do it. Because I mean, I don't know how much we're going to pay him at Ohio State. I'm sure we'll pay him something, but there might be someone who's desperate and they say, hey, we got a 5-star linebacker from Ohio State and let's empty the clip and pay him some. So again, I don't know, but I also don't really care because I think that we'll be in good shape with Sonny and Arvell. Gabe Powers, Peyton Pierce is really, really coming on. But hey, that's just the law of the jungle now, man. I mean, you got to show up or someone's going to take your spot. Ryan Coolidge, thank you for the 100. I appreciate you, my friend. I hope you're having a great night. Thanks for being on here all the time. I just want to thank Kirk and Nevada for their hard work bringing us the best inside Ohio State information. Hope you guys are doing well. Do you guys think IU is a threat? Let's go get this natty. I appreciate you. I mean, Nevada and I wear our phones out, talking to people all day, texting people all day, getting information all day. So we really try to bring it, and everything is always first on the message board. So if you guys really want it first, get on the board. But we love doing this show and we love kicking it with you guys, and our community is second to none. The people that we've gotten to know, the people that are on here every night, you guys have gotten to know each other. You guys have met offline. It's been magical. Like, the Scoop family is no joke, and we just really appreciate you guys that tune in every night. In terms of Indiana, I think they're a threat if we let them be a threat. If we show up and play like we did versus Oregon, where we come out of the gates, we score right away, take the air out of the balloon. The problem with Oregon is we had some dumb mistakes. Obviously we had the fumble. Quinchon can't fumble and give him the ball in the 20 and that type of thing. But I think we have we have a good shot to blow Indiana out. I think they're good. I think that coach is going to win every Coach of the Year award, but have they really seen a monster, or are they just eating goldfish? That's the difference. It's like the difference when you got to go fight the great white shark versus the goldfish, and they've seen nothing but goldfish so far. And Michigan might be like a carp, but we're a great white shark. That's a different level. You got to step up a little bit, or the shark's going to eat you. And I think that's what's going to happen when they come to the shoe. They're going to have all the pressure on them. Like Ohio State's not going to have any pressure because we're already the big bad wolf. We don't need to prove how tough we are. But Indiana, they're going to have to, because they're going to say, okay, well, they've beaten nobody. They beat the worst Michigan team since 2011. So let's see what these guys can do. Nevada, your thoughts again, Ryan? Thank you for the 100. That's incredible. Appreciate you, my friend. It'll be great. Go to Pay It Forward. Again, we're signing up a ton of people for Christmas. A lot of people need help. So again, we'll help as much as we can with our Pay It Forward. We sign up a ton of veterans. And if you guys think you qualify, buckeyescoop@gmail.com. Send us a note and we will go through the procedure with you. Nevada, Ryan says, just want to thank Kirk and Nevada for their hard work bringing us the best inside Ohio State information. Hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well, Ryan. We're doing fantastic, so thank you for that. Nevada, do you think that Indiana is a threat? And let's go win this natty. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Ryan. So generous, and you're a great poster on the board as well. So it's great seeing you on both. Yeah, as for Indiana, the Indiana game is going to be just like a slow constriction where we just kind of the weight of Ohio State's just going to lean on those guys, and we're going to suck the air out of them. And the question is going to be, do they get off to a hot start? If they get off to a hot start, if we go 3-and-out, they come out, score a touchdown, we turn it over, they score, then that game may stay a little closer, a little longer than you might want to. But if you can, as you mentioned, if you can take the air out of them early, that could be one of those ones that gets lopsided. But I think it'll be a competitive. I think Indiana's a good game. They're going to have coming off a bye week. They're well coached, and I think they're clearly be fired up for the game. But it would take a series of unfortunate events for them to keep that game close. And short of something really, really weird happening, I just think we're just going to suffocate those guys. And that's why I said 27-10. Pretty comfortable with that like 3-score type of victory thing.
I agree. VP of Hype, thank you for the 10. Hope you're doing great. My friend, ETA on the hammer dropping on the team up north. Nevada, I don't think you have anything new on when the hammer is going to drop. Obviously, 2 weeks the notice of allegations will be in. I'm sure that'll get leaked. You don't have anything on the hammer, correct?
Well, I'm saying I am the only guy saying this, but I'm going to continue to say it. I still think there's going to be a negotiated settlement. I think it just makes too much sense to me. So that could come anytime, and they could just announce it, and they could say, we're going to announce, or we're going to do this. But I think the reason that you haven't seen that till now is because the NCAA's got their sights on that 2023 national championship, and it's hard to imagine Michigan ever accepting something where they lose that. And maybe they accept something where they think that there's a chance that they can still protect it or something. But that's been the NCAA's position up till now, is that you vacate 2021, 2022, and the first 7 games of 2023, which I think renders them ineligible for the college football playoff that year and ultimately for the national championship. So we'll see. Could be any day, but they're certainly going to have to file a response in the next 2 weeks, and then it gets really spicy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun little Christmas for us Buckeye fans. I can't wait for it. B Wit, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. You've got a super chat next. Thank you for the 10. Nevada, does Connor Stallions really have any legitimacy recruiting Underwood, the quarterback? How can a player still want to go there? I don't think so. I mean, it's obviously weird. He shows up on the staff, and again, I don't know how many times I've seen a coach join a high school staff in the middle of the playoffs, but it's Detroit football or it's Michigan, whatever. So I mean, he's there. I don't think. I mean, this kid's not gonna, make a decision based upon some coach who just showed up a week ago. So yeah, I think he's going to LSU. I don't think he has any desire to go to Michigan, especially when he sees how bad they are on offense. Like, it's just, I'm telling you, man, the one thing about good is good begets good. Like, you want to play with good players, and Michigan is going to be, I mean, they suck now, but next year is going to be even worse. I mean, they lose their good defensive players, and I mean, that O line is atrocious, and they're going to have the hammer of God come down on them. So it's gonna be a fun couple years to be an Ohio State fan. It's gonna be terrible to be a Michigan fan. Nevada, your thoughts? Does Connor Stalions really have any legitimacy with Bryce Underwood, the quarterback? And how can a player still want to go there? I don't know. They're gonna have to take some recruits, but I don't think they're gonna get. You don't see any national 5-star guys coming to visit Michigan right now. And again, in the old days, Michigan used to recruit Jersey hard, Florida, California, and I don't see the big dogs going to Michigan right now. What are your thoughts?
Well, one, you're exactly right. Connor Stalions is going to have zero impact on this recruitment. Absolutely zero impact. The only chance Michigan has to get Underwood is the bag. If they really truly are offering him X million dollars per year, and Underwood's like, look, I can take the bag, and if and when in his mind that Michigan gets hits with the hammer, he can transfer out. He can still take the money and transfer out. So um, that would be the only path that gets him to Michigan. I don't think it's happening, but the Stallions thing is just kind of an interesting side note. I'm sure for Stallions, he's going to want to attach himself to that, so that on the off chance that Underwood does go, that Stallions is like, look, it was my cheerleading, and I directed him, and that's why he went to Michigan. Because I mean, Stallions is a sick puppy. If you haven't figured that out yet, I mean, the guy is really, really. I'm severely mentally ill, and he's obsessed. He's got an unhealthy obsession with Michigan football, and it's like one of those stalkers that stalk like Taylor Swift or Russell Crowe or something like that. And that's what he is. He's like a stalker for Michigan football, and he's so desperate to remain relevant on the thing. He's going to attach himself to high school thing, high school players, high school recruits, anything he can to keep on the radar. But he doesn't realize that like his career's over, like he's done. And it's over, it's done. And the only person in the world that doesn't know that yet is Connor. But so it's kind of sad, to be honest with you. But that's my take on it.
You're always bringing the sadness, Nevada. I can't believe it. It's like
I am sad.
Is your new thing, the sad panda
Yes,
panda
indeed.
man. Pooh Beard 12. You're sad until you go to Freddy's tonight. You get your
Ooh,
strawberry Oreo,
ooh, ooh, ooh.
turtle.
Strawberry Oreo turtle.
Look,
Ooh,
can you put it
that's
all in a
really
cup and hit blend, please? Thank you.
that
I'll see you at
doesn't
the
that doesn't
window.
make me happy. That makes me sad.
Strawberry Oreo Chelsea minus 200 to win slushy.
I've got a dog that keeps soiling the house. That's what's making me sad here today. I've got one of my old dogs is sick, and so every time I turn around, it's like, oh, like what is going on here with that? So it's like it's been one of those days, man. It's been one of those days. If you have anybody else have old dogs, I have three dogs that are all 15 years old, and so it's a constant, and it's raining. So none of them want to go outside right now. So it's like between the rain and the stomach upset and stuff like that, it's like, oh man, what a bad day.
and,
So,
and the dog
but I
and the
did, but
dogs.
I, but I digress.
Nice dose of sunshine today. It's like at least you won your bet. That's what matters.
I won my bet.
Poohbeard 12. Thank you for the ultra. Appreciate you, my dude. Thanks for the 5. I have to disagree with the annual transfer QB approach when we have day to develop 5-star quarterbacks. Give me Sand for 2 years over anyone in the portal. I like where your head is. I really do. And I can agree with it. Because again, it really comes down to who's in the portal. Because if there's not, if it's Kyle McCord in the portal, then pass. But if the right guy's in the portal and he can make us, I mean, if we had, an SID with a pulse, Will Howard be the Heisman favorite right now. Yeah, but we don't. He's lost one game. His QB rating in the red zone is like 300, which is like, it's like the Spartan movie. It's like the highest in the history of college football. And his rating is like, his statistics are as good as CJ Stroud. He doesn't have as many passing touchdowns, but he's got more rushing TDs. He's played a harder schedule than CJ did. And I don't know. We had to play at Alston Stadium and lost by 1. And he could run the table here and win the Big Ten title. And he'll just be like, maybe an invite, or he'll finish like 7th in the Heisman. I'll be like an Ohio State quarterback that wins the Big Ten and is having as good of a year, if not better year than Troy had when he won the Heisman. Yeah, it's just bizarre. But I understand what you're saying with development, and I get it. But with Ryan, he knows that a quarterback is the meta, and Ryan's a quarterback developer. And again, you look at the Chicago Bears and Matt Eberflus and firing Caleb Williams went from the most can't miss quarterback of all time to Turd Ferguson in less than half an NFL season, where he's just lost. So developing that quarterback is everything. Because if you don't have one, the whole team is just going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. Nevada Poober 12 again. Thanks for the 5. Appreciate you, my dude, and thanks for being awesome. Thanks for being on here every night. He says he has to disagree with our stance of the annual transfer QB approach when we have day to develop 5-star quarterbacks. Give me Sane for 2 years over anyone in the portal. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, I like I said, I'm like 51-49 on this. So, but I'm not like totally on it, but I agree with you. I think it depends on who's there. If there's a can't miss guy, man, that's so hard to not go in on it. But like you said, if it's a bunch of Kyle McCords or a bunch of like this year, I'm not sure who the obvious guy is that could be a portal quarterback for next year. Because I'm thinking about the top quarterbacks, and they're all guys that are going to go out. So I get it. I don't think that's a crazy take at all, and I hope Julian Sand is outstanding because he was great in high school. He's got the intellect. He's a little small. Now maybe I'm spoiled from watching Will Howard, who's like the big 6'5", 240-pound Josh Allen type back there. So Julian looks like his kid brother when he's running around out there. But maybe I'll get used to that. But yeah, I hope Julian's great. I hope Tavian's great. I just want to have great quarterback play at Ohio State. I'm agnostic about where we get it from, but I know that it's absolutely necessary to our success.
Yeah, Julian's going to use that Chipotle card those guys have where they get like one free. He's going to use that plus his NIL money to go eat like way more food and get bigger, because right now he's built like one of the emo kids from South Park. So it's like I worry because, like I said, I want my quarterback to be the Hulk, because again, if one of our tackles screws up next year and he just happens to get hit, I feel like those big guys can absorb the pain way better than your boy midget Magoo Baker Mayfield, who got hurt every year, or you look at Bryce Young. These little guys get hurt, man. So give me Roethlisberger and Will Howard and these big dudes, because I think that they have built-in shock absorbers. Because again, it's like watching a heavyweight fighter versus a featherweight fighter. Like the heavyweight guy could probably take more damage, probably inflict more damage. He's just bigger. Where you get these little guys that are like built like gnats. It's tough. So, but Julian's got crazy talent. Again, he just has to add some mass, because again, our line, we'll see how it is. Because again, the hard part about projecting for next year is we don't know who the starters are going to be. We could guess, but I mean, look at like this time last year. If I would have said, "Hey, Nevada, I've been at Twin Peaks for 5 hours, and I'm going to show up and do the show, and we're going to get Quinshawn Judkins, Julian Sane, Caleb Downs, Seth McLaughlin." You'd be like, "All right, Kirk, let's just not podcast when you're like that. That'd probably be better for all of us." And it's like, oh, and on top of that, we're going to get Chip Kelly. They're okay, Kirk, just take the night off next time and let's do us all a favor, because you've been in the hooch. But in reality,
and Will Howard,
and Will Howard as the cherry on top. So it's like, but so that's why, if we were trying to do a spring too deep at this time last year, it would have been like 50% correct, because we got like, holy cow. I mean, it's like we got the Neiman Marcus Christmas catalog. We just bought everything. So worked out. I'll take it. And next year's going to be the same thing. B. What? Thanks for the 5. Appreciate you, brother. I hope you're doing good. Connor Stones really have any legitimacy? Ooh, is this the same one? It's pretty close to the same, but I'll answer it again. Connor Stones really have any legitimacy when recruiting Bryce Underwood? How can players still consider going to Michigan? I don't think they can. I think a lot of people are kind of sit and wait. And I think that Michigan is going to get hammered by the NCAA and by the transfer portal. So I think a lot of those kids are going to get out of there. Because they know Sharon Moore is a fraud. They know that offense is a fraud. They know that Nevada's boy Stink Martindale is a fraud. So it's all around fraud city up there, and it is not going to be a very fun winter in Ann Arbor. It's going to be really cold up there. Nevada, your thoughts? We've already talked about Bryce Underwood a little bit. But Nevada, how can players still go ahead?
That's literally, you've read that question one. That's exactly the same question. You read it over again.
No, but the first time he didn't spell Bryce Underwood, so I think he
Oh,
resent it. If you
well,
look at the screen, he wrote Gary GARY''SE. So I don't know how Bryce got autocorrected to Gareese Underwood, but I was able to
yeah,
with
yeah.
my amazing. Since I'm
You
like
are
Oz,
amazing.
I'm like Oz the mentalist, and I can just read
You
exactly
are
what he's trying to say. So
amazing.
it's two separate super chats with almost the same question. So again, you guys get what
Stallions,
you pay.
stallions,
You guys
stallions,
get what you pay
stallions,
for when you guys come watch me, baby. I'm telling you.
stallions will not have an impact on that. And I don't. I mean, if he goes, I almost hope that he does go there and then leaves when they get hit with a hammer. But it doesn't matter. Michigan's going to suck. They're going to be so bad. And so that's the main reason I don't think he's going to go. He's too. If he's got any half a brain, he's going to realize I'm going to go there and I'm going to get destroyed. So that would not be a good idea.
Do you want me to read the question again, Nevada? Would that cheer you up at all?
No, maybe a third time. But maybe a third.
Maybe a third time. It's like your dog's taking a dookie inside my brain. I'm just like
Oh
literally rereading
man,
it again.
oh man, Winnie, come on, Winnie, come on,
Come
pull it
on,
together,
Winnie.
Winnie.
When he's like, I'm down here in the sub in the middle of the ocean, man. This is great. I love it. And you know what?
Winnie,
With the sub,
Winnie,
there's no escape from the smell in the sub.
Winnie's my deaf one. She's deaf. We got her from the pound. She would figure out that she's deaf too. So she's deaf and she's got an intestinal problem right now. So she's got some issues going on.
Well, if she's deaf, I'm sure she loves the podcast. Then, I mean, how could she
Uh,
not? It's probably
She loves
those are
she,
our biggest
she,
audience.
she loves it, man. She's a
She's
big
like
fan.
big. She's like big cuddly bear on the screen, talking and drawing
Oh
little circles on the thing. This
yeah,
is Jack
oh
Sawyer getting a pass rush. This is great. Go Bucks. All right, Nevada, let's wrap this thing up before we get delirious. Any final thoughts?
yeah. I'm gonna do it. I swear I wasn't gonna do it, but I need to humble brag. My daughter's made the U.S. national team for hockey, going to Helsinki for the World Championships. They announced that today, so I'm pretty excited about that in the Nevadabuck household. But that 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 proud dad moment. It was a
Let's
proud. It was a
go.
proud.
Let's go. Boo. Let's
let's,
go.
let's
Boo.
go.
Let's go. Boo.
Yeah, stop that puck. Don't let the puck in the net.
Oh my
Otherwise,
God.
well, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, we're gonna be yelling at you.
We're gonna do a fundraiser for your Xanax, and you're sitting there, and she's wearing the Team USA jersey against Canada, and she's in like the shootout at the end. And you're sitting there like, and the best part is Nevada's gonna figure out the time change so that he can podcast at like 1 in the morning in
No,
Helsinki.
it's 2 in the morning. It's 2 in the morning. So I'm gonna be up at
Yes,
2 in the morning
let's
every night
let's go. Let's
for
go.
12 days. I'm
Let's
there for
go.
12 days in January. Let's go.
12 days in January. It'd be like during the national championship. Nevada, we gotta do the
Oh,
post. We gotta
so
do the
bad.
post game show at 4 in the morning.
So
So
bad.
go get your crumpet and your tea. From
So bad.
From Timu Solani when he's your little barista over there.
I've heard
That'll
it
be
may be
great.
cold. I've heard it may be cold in Helsinki in January too. Do I need to bring a jacket? Do you think?
I don't know if you're living in your house and it's 60 degrees, then you probably don't need any jacket. You got the ice queen. I'd hand her a pack
Uh,
of smokes and say, hey, just do your normal thing you do in Vegas to warm yourself up. Burn a couple
oh man,
smokes and you'll be nice and warmed up. You
let's
know,
go. I love
let's go.
it.
I
Let's
love it.
go.
The Helsinki Hellraiser, Nevadabuck. It's gonna be great. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Appreciate you guys again. Thank you guys for always bringing the heat. Another great show. Appreciate all you guys that super chatted. Austin Spears, that is incredible. Ryan Coolidge. What an amazing community, guys. We don't take you guys for granted. We love you guys to death. Thank you guys for all that you guys do for Pay It Forward. Thank you to our veterans again, our police officers patrolling our streets, keeping us safe. Again, you guys get neglected, and it really ticks us off on Buckeye Scoop. So we try to recognize you as much as we can. Thank you for what you guys do. Again, we know what the world would be like without great cops and without what you guys do. So again, we appreciate you guys. First responders, the whole crew. Thank you guys for helping this be such a great nation. And thank you for all of your sacrifices that you guys make. I know it's tough. You guys are away from your families. I get all kinds of great notes from police officers all over the country, but we love you guys. Again, we're not some of the morons that attack our police officers that are the greatest human beings in the world, our military folk. We respect you. We love you guys. Thank you guys for what you guys do. With that being said, if you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. Again, appreciate you guys. This huge crowd, another huge episode. Thanks to you guys. It's a huge show because you guys make it one, nobody else. And we don't forget that. So we are driven by our Scoop family, and you guys are absolutely awesome. So thank you for that. Again, if you guys want to do something huge for us, and again, I know I ask every night, but following us on Apple Podcasts is really starting to make a difference for us. It's huge. We're really trying to, that's kind of our main initiative as a company, is to grow our audio format. So if you could follow us on Apple Podcasts, search Buckeye Scoop, click subscribe. Also on Spotify. They're both completely free. Huge way to help us. So, but as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of the night. Thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. We will talk to you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. We will be ready to roll. You guys have a great rest of your night, and I appreciate you guys so much. Go Bucks.